Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Asmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Yapyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Asmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravyam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we are in our second chapter. What verse are we on tonight?
18.
18. Please.
Jim, I just want to say hi. It's Michael. I joined late.
Hi, Michael, joining late. Good to see you. We're having daylight savings in this country.
Yeah, that's why I can't join yoga for Shishta now, so I'll be joining this.
You're welcome to anything. When are you likely to finish your course?
June 2026.
Oh, you've got another year and a half then. All right.
Yep.
Keep us posted. Keep us posted. All right. Would you help us out, please, Deepa?
Antavanta ime deha nityasyokta sharirinaha anashino prameyasya tasmadyutyasva bharata. They have an end, it is said, these bodies of the embodied self. The self is eternal, indestructible, incomprehensible. Therefore fight, O Bharata.
So there's a lot packed into this shloka. So let's review the spiritual anthropology that's set forward in the second chapter. And my favorite example is if you have a mug of tea. So the mug is like the physical body. The tea is like the subtle body, the antara. The tea bag is like the causal body, the vasanas. So if your tea is in a paper cup and it develops a hole in the bottom, oh my God, it's leaking. What am I going to do? You pour it into another cup. This is reincarnation. Now, The self is like the space in the cup. So I don't have a cup of tea tonight. I've got a water glass. The glass is like the physical body. The water in the glass is like the antakarana, the transmigrating soul, the inner equipment. The space in the glass is like the self. If I drink the water and break the glass, what happens to the space? Oh my gosh, it's just all merged. Has anything happened really to the space? Yes, no?
No.
Now watch my magic trick. You see the space in the water glass? Watch it carefully. There it is. Did I move space? Did I? Not air, space.
No.
Was there any motion of the space at all? In fact, when we talk about cup space or glass space, we're not really talking about the space, we're talking about the container that exists in space. So the physical body comes and goes. The subtle body, some scriptures will include the causal body, the vasanas in that, others break it away. That's only a matter of description, it's not important. The point is that only has a relative immortality. You are birthless, changeless, deathless. Now, going back to verse 16, where Krishna plays with these two words, Sat and Bhava. Remember that one? Nasato vidyate bhavaha, that one? Remember that, 16?
Yeah.
So we're dealing first of all with things that exist or don't exist. The chair exists, the table exists, the lamp exists, the child of a barren woman doesn't exist. The horns of a hare don't exist. It either exists or it doesn't exist. It's just an illusion. It's fantasy. We may be done. Set that on the shelf. Now we talk about bhava, being. We ordinarily separate the world into things and beings. The chair is a thing, the table is a thing, Shilpa is a being. Deepa, I think you're a being.
Child.
Dogs and frogs, worms and germs are beings. The table, the chair, the lamp is a thing. What Krishna has said in this shloka if it doesn't have bhava, being, it doesn't really have sat, existence. Only bhava, being, is. Where is this bhava? It's myself. You are a conscious sentient being. How do you know that you are you? You do not see, hear, taste, touch, smell, emote, or think yourself. You can have ideas about yourself, but the whole equipment, the upadis, are jada. They're inert. One thought can't know another thought. One feeling can't know another feeling. My thumb doesn't know my finger. I know the sensation of my thumb touching my finger. The body is inert. It's jada. But you are not inert. You are not a thing. You are a being. You are the being. All else is imagination. Now, when it comes to incarnation, this is a funny thing. Does the self reside in the body? Well, it certainly feels like it. It feels like I'm inside and I have a locus of perception. I'm peeping out of my senses. I'm in here and you are over there. That's our feeling. But is that what's really going on? So I ask the question, do you incarnate into the dream state? Who had a dream last night? Either of you two? Yes, no?
Yeah.
What'd you dream about?
Driving on the freeway.
Okay. So it felt like you were in the car driving on the freeway, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Were you in the dream or was the dream in you? Well, that's weird. I felt like I was in the dream, but upon awakening, you didn't rush out of the car back into your bed, did you?
Mm-hmm.
The dream was in you. You went nowhere. Sound asleep on your bed. This dream thing, driving in a car on the freeway, took place. This is no different. Later on, Krishna is going to say, all this is strung on me like Mani Sutra, like gems on a thread. And much later, he says, well, actually, I am not in them. I think it's 9th chapter. They are in me. And then he goes on to say, well, actually, they're not even really in me. Behold my Maya, the support of the whole. So with this frame in mind, let's parse this incredibly subtle and dense shloka. So the first idea, let's take it up piece by piece, please, Deepa.
They have an end. It is said, these bodies of the embodied self.
Yes. So what do we know about the meat lump, the Annamaya Kosha? It is born, it grows up, it has its allotted dose of joys and sorrows. And so quickly, you grow old, you grow feeble and frail, and start drooling into your diaper, and then you die. Unless you're an 8-year-old in Gaza, then you die in it. Who is more dead? The person who dies at 90 or the 8-year-old?
That is dead.
That is dead. Everybody is going to die. I'm reading a novel about the bubonic plague as it hit England in the 14th century. One of the characters says, "Oh, am I going to die?" And a wise other person says, "Yes, we're all going to die." It's inevitable. But is the body? And what I like to do is invite people to look at a photograph of themselves at maybe 10 or 15 years of age. Do any of you have family albums where you can see photos of yourself at that age? Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did that body go? Scientists tell us we completely renew all the cells in our body every 7 years. I do not know if that's true. That's just what I've been told. But where did that body of the 10-year-old go? Down the toilet and down the drain in the shower, literally. But did you cease to be for a moment? Well, I continue because I have memory that strings my existence all together. No, it doesn't. What's the date today? The 4th?
Third.
3rd of November of 2024. What were you doing on the 3rd of November a decade ago? Do you know?
No.
You have no memory of it. There are huge gaps in your memory. Huge. Memory is not what proves the continuity of existence. You are eternal. Now, Nityam, eternal, is different than Puranam or Sanatanam. Those mean ancient, really, 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 really old. The self is also really, 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 really old. But Nityam is eternal. You are outside of time. You are in the eternal now. And you watch this thing called the body and the mind and the thoughts and the sensory experiences just keep going by. You go. I love what Ram Dass used to say, even dying is completely safe. I had a student here earlier in the week. She had to confess that she has this deeply rooted klesha, this fear of financial insecurity. It's caused her to, at times in her life, not be totally honest. She's cut corners financially, not reported income, stuff like that. And it's fear. What are you afraid of? Well, that there won't be enough money. Well, she's no kid. And I said, have you ever slept on the street? No. Have you ever missed a meal that you didn't want to? No. Have you always had a roof over your head? Yeah. Clothes on your back? Yeah. So you have some years of empirical evidence that you're going to be taken care of. You have no empirical evidence that you're going to fall into some terrible abyss. Why do you worry? Why are you afraid? It's illogical. It flies in the face of your direct experience. Next idea.
The self is eternal,
We talked about that. Nitya.
indestructible.
Yes. So bodies get sick, limbs get damaged, heartache happens, we lose loved ones, we have confusion and doubt, but none of it touches you. You are like the still point at the center of the cyclone of this world. Absolutely still. Kutastha, Krishna will say, still established like a mountain. Don't believe me. Through your day, stop. Just still the mind a little bit. Introvert the attentive faculty and notice the knower. Notice I. What's there? Nothing, Jim. Just witnessing consciousness. Oh, I'm so glad. That's so different than yesterday when it was a little gray ball with wings. No, Jim. There was nothing there yesterday. But I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid that I am going to fall into the abyss. Oh, that witnessing consciousness is going to get destroyed. Have you ever looked within and not seen that you are empty like the sky? Chidakasha. Next idea.
Incomprehensible.
Yes. Later on, Krishna is going to say, he who knows it not. Meaning the person who has all the book learning. Paroksha jnana, indirect knowledge. Indirect knowledge, Brahman is. And then he follows it. She who knows it not, knows it. Up Paroksha jnana. So we had our Diwali party Friday night. Some of the people had left. There were still quite a few people here. Happened to be some of our students who've been here for several years, who know the Brahmananda Rasa Swad, the taste of the juice of the bliss of breath. There wasn't anything formal. We were just talking. The music had shut off, and then all of a sudden, everything stopped. There was the thunder of the silence. So the yogi has to learn to unknow. That's different than not knowing. Ignorance is not knowing. Agnosia, it's a Greek word, means unknown. The self is not knowable by the intellect. Oh, I read it in a book. That's the self. It's not it. Yet it is not unknown. How do you know you were you? Again, you do not see, hear, taste, touch, smell, emote, or think yourself. Yet you know. It is both knowable and unknowable by the mind, never known as an object. It's not a piece of data. It's not a thing you see go by. Next idea.
Therefore, fight, O Bharata.
So, once I see that I am kutastha, still motionless, achalam, I never move. What about this body, mind, intellect? Put the robot on automatic pilot. Push the cruise control button. Let the equipment fulfill its prarabdha karma in the world. Let it do what it's going to do, and you have no relationship to it. What the yogi understands is getting what I want just gets me what I want. It has very little to do with happiness. Those of us who are studying Panchadashi, Monday night, we're in the bliss of yoga, in the 11th chapter. And he spent so much time discussing what we call the Anandamaya Kosha, the bliss sheath. We experience the bliss sheath in two ways. First, when I satisfy a desire. When desire and object of desire become one for a brief moment, the low-level agitation and longing, restless of the mind simmers down. But I think that state, which is a taste of the bliss of myself, is in the person, place, thing, or situation. Makes me want to repeat. Where's the other place where we experience the Anandamaya Kosha? Yeah. Who slept well last night? I slept very well.
An extra hour does wonders.
It does. And then you wake up in the morning. Just I don't have to get up for another 40 minutes. So there's just enough mind there to enjoy that deep bliss that was there all night in deep sleep. Then the mind starts to happen. For me this morning, I've got someone coming at 10 o'clock. I've got to finish doing the dishes. I've got to do this, blah, 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 blah. And I've got to do that. And then I have to check my emails. And then the bliss just recedes. But no object, no person causes the bliss of deep sleep. In fact, it occurs because of the absence of the yearning, thirsting mind, the triputi, the triple factor, the knower, knowing, and known. It's all merged, and that feels wonderful. What does that say? There's a deep philosophical conclusion to that. You don't need a mind in order to be blissful. You must have a mind in order to be miserable. Why are you hanging on to your miserable mind? Let it go. Give up the jonesing. Krishna refers. That's the essence of it. Then do as you will in the world, knowing that the equipment, the body, mind, intellect, will get its allotted dose of successes and failures, pains and pleasures, based on the punya and papam of the past. That's all it is. Next idea.
That's it. Next verse now.
Next verse. First of all, any questions? Very densely packed verse. Next one.
Ya enam veti hantaram yaschenam manyate hatam ubhoto na vijanito nayam hanti na hanyate. He who takes the self to be the slayer, and he who thinks he is slain, neither of them knows. He slays not, nor is he slain.
So this term slayer and slain is a metaphor for the doer and the experiencer. Karta bhokta cha. That is how egoism manifests in the subtle intellect as the agent, karta, the doer. I did the dishes this morning. I met with my friend. I made lunch. I took a nap. I listened to the book. That's a sense of I, agent. Bhokta literally means enjoyer, but a deeper meaning is experiencer. I enjoyed my leftover tikka masala. I enjoyed my homemade raita. I enjoyed visiting with my friend. I enjoy my nice warm new shower. The landlord has fixed my shower. The enjoyer, the experiencer. So it feels like there's a me inside who is the agent. I'm doing things and it's the me that's experiencing things. And what Krishna is saying is that's an illusion. Who is the agent? There are two ways to look at it. When we get into the chapters on Karma Yoga, 3, 4, and 5, mostly in chapter 5, he's going to say the agent is guna and karma. The qualities of the mind, whether it is tamasic, rajasic, or sattvic, and the force of the past, as it interacts with the society. Let me give you an example of this. So back in the 1970s, before most of you were even born, I had really big hair and I had some velvet bell-bottom pants and a coat without lapels. And I wore this necklace, this chain with a big locket.
Mm-hmm.
And I had platform shoes and a mustache. That was just the coolest thing you can imagine in the early 70s.
Well, you still have the mustache.
I see photos of that and I go, my God. Did I choose that, or was I influenced by the fashion of the period? Later on, I moved into the Castro. I had still longish hair, and my Castro clone mustache, but we all wore 501 jeans and eyes on polo shirts. That's what we wore. Did I choose it? Or was I influenced by the fashion of the time? So this idea, it's the qualities of my mind and the force of the past, impressions laid down for lifetimes, influences from family. Here's another good example. I've talked with some of you about some of the things that the sociologists and the psychotherapists have discovered about alcoholism in families. That if you are the child of an alcoholic, when you grow up, you have a 50% chance of becoming one or marrying one. There's some genetic predisposition. Okay, I can understand. You don't realize it. You start to drink, and that craving gets set up. I can understand that. Why, in God's name, if you come from a family with the devastation of an addict or alcoholic parent, would you marry someone like that? It's all unconscious. It's familiar. It's the way in which we've been programmed. Guna and karma. But the point that the shloka is getting at is the self is not the agent. Now, here we come into direct tension with the whole notion of free will. Do we as human beings have free will? Can you freely choose? Or is God determining everything? Is it all fate? Swamiji always used to say it's karma, not kismet. Kismet, I think, is a Persian word, which means fate. So you walk outside of your house or apartment and somebody's dog has pooped on the porch. Oh, it's fate. No, that's your karma to have a dog poop on your porch. But now you have purushartha, your own self-effort. Clean it up. You're in a rowboat and somebody falls overboard. Oh, fate. They were meant to fall overboard. Well, throw them the damn life saver, whatever it is. What do you call those round things?
Lifesaver.
Yeah, throw them one of those. So we do make choices, but is that our karma? Yes. So the teaching on karma does not absolve us from choosing, from making our choices. But in the larger frame of things, what we desire, what we choose to do based on those desires is our technical term is prarabdha karma, the karma of this life, which we have built by the choices we've made for many lifetimes. You're going to do what you're going to do. Now, what is the import of this teaching? Why is it so important? What is its value? Who here has been tortured by regret? Oh, I wish I had done so and so or said such and such. That was such a mistake. Why did I get involved with that person? Or why did I take that job? Oh, that was it was such poor choice. I regret it so badly. Who's had thoughts like that? You could do no other. Product karma. We do what we do. And the other end of it, oh my God, I got to apply for a job, and this company says that they want me, and should I take it or not? There's another company that wants me, and should I take that one? Should I do this or should I do that? Should I do this or should I do that? Who's had those kind of decisions? You're going to do what you're going to do. In a sense, it was written when you popped out of your mother's womb. We do our best, understanding this deep law of love. But ego gets in there and thinks, I am so responsible. It's all my doing. I make mistakes. I blah, 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 blah. It's vanity. If you, in high school, ever saw a marching band, any of you were in a marching band in high school?
Yeah, I've marched a little bit. Yeah.
Huh?
I've marched a little bit.
So in the front of the marching band is the drum major.
Mm-hmm.
So they usually have a big puffy hat and they have this thing, they go like that. Actually, none of the members of the band is watching them. It's all for show.
Mm-hmm.
They're keeping the rhythm, they're keeping in step, stuff like that. They're paying attention to the music, they're listening. And I always think of they come to the parade route and the band makes a left turn and the drum major forgets they were supposed to turn left. They just keep going forward. Oh dear, they run around to get in front of the band again. That's our ego. We think, I am choosing this and I am choosing that. When it's all guna and dharma. This doesn't mean to be passive and be like waiting for some sign. Some of us try to run our lives through divination. Run to the astrologer. Oh, should I do this? Should I get together with that person? I look for a sign. Oh, I found a feather today. I wonder if that means something. Get out the I Ching, the Ouija board. Talk to the spirits. You're going to do what you're going to do. Now, there is an intelligence that is connected to the entire creation, that's spinning galaxies, lighting up stars, controlling everything. So if you and I make the choice, our karma, to surrender to the intelligence of the universe, Technical term is Ishvara Pranidhana, trustful surrender to God. So when you pray in the morning, oh God, give me what I want. Oh God, give me what I want. God's not your errand boy. Oh, I'm going to do a puja to get what I want. Gods are not your errand boys. Then how should I pray? Divine Mother, give me knowledge of your will for me today. Strength and the power to carry it out. This surrendering of egoism. How does God communicate with us? Through our deep intuition, our deep sense of rightness. We begin to align our personal will with the will of the divine, with the infinite. And life tends to work a whole lot better. So, either God is the agent everywhere, or it's guna and karma. You can use either one of those ideas. But the point is, the person who thinks, I do, I am powerful, I am smart, I am superior, I have accomplished, that's the person who's going to suffer. Because all of that is fueling. I like to say, just go out to Ocean Beach and try to tell the waves to stop coming in. All right, next idea. Oh, that's the whole verse. The verse is slayer and slain, meaning actor and experiencer. It is guna and karma. That is the actor and the experiencer. I just witnesses it all. It's never touched by it. All right, next verse.
न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूय अजो नित्य शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. He is not born, nor does he ever die. After having been, he again ceases not to be. Yes. Unborn, eternal, changeless, and ancient. He is not killed when the body is killed.
Yes. So again, in this chapter, Krishna's teaching on 3 levels. On the level of our identification with the body, it's going to happen there. On the level of the subtle body, that inner equipment that moves from incarnation to incarnation. And on the highest level of the self. So in this verse, he's now teaching from the highest level. Now, how do we use a meditation verse? It does us no good for us to read this and say, oh, that's so comforting about the self, as if it's something that just kind of hovers above us. What do you think about the self? Oh, that's different than what you think about the self. As some idea or some being. Always, when we get a verse like this, it's true about you. Who sees the phone? Right? That's yourself. You don't get another self. You don't get a new self. My problem is I do not understand. I do not know what myself is. My mind is confused as to the nature of myself. Self doesn't get changed by any of this work, just my silly mind. So, when we have a verse like this, how do we use it? This is my suggestion. Have the text next to you. In your meditation seat, sit for a bit, tune up the mind, get the mind as quiet as you can. And then take one of these ideas at a time, introverting your attentive faculty. See if you can discern whether or not this is true about you. So the first idea.
He is not born.
Yes, meaning you. The body is born, but you did not begin with your body. You have no experience of coming into existence. Looking at the body and its process. Most of us are adults. You've gone through childhood, youth. Some of you are still young, youthful, others are middle-aged. Few of us are grumpy old men. You've seen each of these stages of the body be born. Deepa, how old are you?
44.
Okay. So when you look in the mirror, do you look different than you did at 24?
At least a little bit, yes.
So you can look into this body and say, oh my gosh, it's so different. There's maybe some more of it, and parts of it are sagging that didn't used to, and there's gray hair here and there. Is that sometimes your experience?
Oh, there's gray hair everywhere, like seriously.
Yeah.
There's not enough hair color in the world.
But my point is, this middle-aged woman was born and you watched her birth. You did not begin when you moved from 24 to 44. In fact, you watched the whole aging period. Through your 20s, through your 30s, and now in your 40s. But you, if you stay away from the mirrors and you sit in a comfortable chair so nothing hurts, you don't feel any different than you did at 24, 14. You are always you. Well, I don't remember before maybe 3 or 4. Like we've said before, the lack of memory is no proof of existence or discontinuity of existence. You have no experience of not being. Next idea.
Nor does he ever die after having been.
Yes. So, in fact, you have seen the body die. let's see, how many times does 7? You said 44 or 42?
44,
How many times does 7 go into 44?
6 point something.
Yeah. So you've died 6 times. But did you cease to be at any time? You're how old?
30.
30. 7 4s are 28. So you've had about 4 of them. Have you ceased to be during any of those? I like to say when you die, it's going to be much like getting your hair cut. There you are at the beauty salon or the barber shop. They go snip, 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 snip. The hair falls off. You're not on the floor of the beauty salon going, oh, I've been caught. Yeah, okay. Oh my God, there's a lot of gray hair in that. But you are not there. You feel attached right now, but it's not you. The body falls off, even the subtle body. Still self goes away. Next idea.
He again ceases not to be.
Yes. Self never ceases to be. I am Atma Brahma. This self is Brahma. It is the ground of being of the entire universe. Next idea. Or is that all the pieces?
No, there are more.
Okay.
Unborn, eternal, changeless, and ancient.
Yes. Unborn. Only the body is born. You are not. Eternal. Again. Outside of time. Changeless. Don't believe me. Don't believe the scripture. In a quiet mind, in the space between your thoughts, with the attentive faculty introverted, look and see. Oh, still just Chidakash, the space of pure awareness, hasn't changed. That's always who I am. And what was the word he used for ancient?
Purana.
Yes, ancient. So it is very old. Some of us may have memories of prior incarnations. Anybody here of you two remember any past lives?
No.
Yeah, but again, you don't remember being 3 either. Some people do. So what this is saying is even the self is outside of time. It is also ancient in time. It's always there. Is that all the pieces of this verse?
There's one more.
And the last one?
He is not killed when the body is killed.
Yes. Self is untouched. And here we can take killed in the largest frame of it, the death of any experience. A tragedy happens, but you remain. A crisis happens, but you remain. Good things come, you remain. They pass, as all things do. You remain. Next one, next verse.
Veda vinasham nityam ya enamajjama vavyayam katham sa purusha partha kam ghatayati hantikam. Whosoever knows him to be indestructible, eternal, unborn, and inexhaustible, how can that man slay, O Partha, or cause others to be slain?
Yes. So again, repeating these same ideas. The woman of knowledge, the man of knowledge, the Stita Pragnya Purusha, the person of steady wisdom, knows I is not the agent. The body acts, the mind reacts, the intellect thinks about it. But I am the untouched, unattached witness. Now, what's the power of this teaching? Some people may have the idea that, oh, when I'm spiritual, I'll never make a mistake. I'll be perfect. I'll be a goody-goody. Listen very carefully. Many, many disciples and devotees attribute a rationalization to the Guru. Let me tell you the truth. The equipment of the Guru was perfectly capable of honor and dishonor, gain and loss, knowing and not knowing, like other people. What's the difference? The person of steady wisdom doesn't get upset by it. True story.
Sorry,
So-
Tim, one more time. The person of wisdom doesn't get themselves,
Doesn't get upset by it.
doesn't get upset by it. Okay.
So we can say that, oh, Guruji got mad at so and so and such and such. Oh, he was just testing them, you know. Da, 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 da. No, he got mad. You don't have to rationalize it. But if the Guru got mad, didn't touch him, and he really doesn't care. Oh, you know, we rationalize all this stuff. And we have to understand when we say the actions of the Guru are perfect, listen very carefully. So are yours.
Mhm.
Because you are not the doer. You just think you are. Now, because the person of steady wisdom doesn't have the same kinds of cravings and ego defenses that you or I may have. Yes, their behavior is different. But it doesn't mean they know everything all the time. This was in 1993. It was the last time I saw Swamiji. So this fellow comes to talk to him. I happen to be sitting in the room. And he and his wife had been disciples of Swamiji since the late 60s. And this fellow was saying, you know, my wife has decided that she wants to take up brahmacharya, celibacy, and won't have sex with me anymore. Swamiji says, how long has this been going on? He says, for 10 years. And Swamiji said, I didn't know this. What she's doing is wrong. She has a duty to do. She was a grahasta. She was married. She had a family. Now, was Swamiji incredibly intuitive and perceptive? Yeah. But he clearly said, I did not know this. Now, in the larger frame of things, that was perfect. The Lord kept a veil on Swamiji's knowing. That was that couple's prarabdha. How it resolved itself, I have no idea. But the point I'm getting at, here, there's a kind of perfection that's above our worldly notions of good or bad, right or wrong. What the yogi wants to practice is radical, perpetual acceptance with the deep knowledge that everything is unfolding exactly as it's supposed to. That doesn't mean we're passive. We make choices. We may try to help. I mean, we're going to change anything, believe me. But we don't get caught up in regret for the past or attempts to manipulate or change or coerce the future, thinking that's going to be better for other people than going to make me. Yogi accepts life's terms. Next idea. Did we get all the ones in this verse?
I think so.
Read the whole thing again for me, please.
Whosoever knows him to be indestructible, eternal, unborn, and inexhaustible. How can
Let's go to inexhaustible. So back to what is the benefit of being a person of steady wisdom. We can kind of boil it down to two things. The first is what I call existential freedom. I know everything's okay. I am never touched, and the world is unfolding as it should. It's okay. And I also now know where happiness is. Happiness, the source of it is myself, not the objects. So the yogi learns what we call Atmaramana. She learns how to revel. How deeply the mind can revel in the self is inexhaustible. Some of my new students come and they learn to tune up a little bit, and they're getting a little bit of serenity, listen to sound. I don't want to burst their bubble. Dude, that's just the beginning. There's no end. And some of us still have tenuous mind. We can't abide in the self very deeply. Don't blame. One of the marks of a person of steady wisdom, they've given up making these egocentric efforts. But then we get a chance sometimes to meet a Mahatma, a yogi who abides incredibly deep. I had a dear friend, Julie, and she went to the Mahakumbha Mela in I think it was 73 or 74. And she had the great punya to meet Anandamayi Ma. She was a Westerner. She didn't have a whole lot of cultural preparation. But she said you got 20 feet away from her and your mind was just gone. And she just burst into tears and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. And this woman, her Shakti was just so powerful. What's her name mean? Ananda Mahima. What's it mean?
The one with a lot of bliss, the mother with a lot of bliss.
Joy permeated mother, the mother whose nature is Maya, comprised of bliss. Yeah. One of India's greatest saints. And what can they do? They can inspire us. Let us know what it's possible for the human being to achieve. What's after inexhaustible? What's next?
How can that man slay Upartha or cause others to be slain?
Doesn't mean necessarily you become a pacifist. It means I am rooted in the knowledge. I do nothing. I go nowhere. World passes in front of me. This body, mind, intellect moves in the world, and I have no relationship to it. It's like your shadow. Go outside on a fall day in the afternoon, your shadow is very long. Do you come and say, oh, I am so powerful. I had a 20-foot shadow today. No. Or high noon, it's summer, your shadow is very small. Oh, I'm not a very good shadower. I only have a little itty bitty shadow today. No. You see your shadow, but you are not the agent of the shadow. Others will come. You have a relationless relationship. Your shadow. Have a relationless relationship with your body, mind. Stand back always. Sakshiva, the attitude of the witness. Watching. All right, what verse are we on for next week?
22.
22? Okay, we'll end here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.